And now, from 12 Studios, this is News 12 Now.
Hello and welcome to News 12 Now. Thank you for tuning in today. It's Tuesday, July 29th, and I am Robin Key. Let's go over the stories you need to know right now. One person is dead after a fire so devastating, 4 different departments in Marshall County responded. Willis Powell Fire Rescue says it happened Sunday night at a home on State Highway 32 west of Kingston. The fire department rushed to the scene to find the home engulfed in flames and one person dead inside. The state fire marshal is investigating. The home was totally destroyed. The victim's name is not being released at this time, and the cause of the fire is under investigation. Now, we have more information about the woman who died after she and a friend were struck by lightning on Lake Texoma this weekend. Marshall County EMS stated it happened near Party Island. 32-year-old Vanessa Zamir was in critical condition and taken to a local hospital where she later died. State troopers say it is important to take shelter at the first sign of lightning or thunder.
When we see those storms rolling in, paying attention to the radars, paying attention to the weather reports that are coming in, that we get away from the water as quickly as possible, because lightning can be deadly and it can strike anywhere at any time.
It's important to remember that weather conditions on open water can change rapidly. Now, ongoing investigations have been catching people allegedly involved in child exploitation cases across the nation and in Grayson County. Such a case came to light when a Sherman man was arrested at his home in connection to child exploitation investigations on Thursday. But the Grayson County Sheriff's Office says that there are ways to try to keep your child safe.
If you have a child that is accessing some of these, not necessarily these sites, but it has access to anything out in the internet, just know what they're looking at, know what they're downloading, know who they're contacting, because they can also become a victim of this.
The Sheriff's Office will continue to pursue every tip regarding child exploitation in Grayson County. In Sulphur, the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics raided a cannabis grow operation. It happened last week at a farm on Powell Road. OBN says it's part of a fraud investigation involving a straw ownership scheme. Agents seized more than 21,000 plants and 800 pounds of processed cannabis. ICE took 9 people into custody, and OBN says more arrests are expected. In Stonewall, police are asking for help identifying 2 people. You can see them on your screen now. They say the man and woman were involved in an incident at the Dollar Store General. If you know who they are, call the Stonewall police. The city of Paris is asking for help identifying this man here. He was seen breaking a glass display case while inside the Paris Walmart, stealing a PlayStation and accessories before leaving the storm. Then, over the weekend, we told you about a man in Paris that police were trying to make contact with. Detectives spoke with the man and said that he has been knocking on doors, attempting to serve papers, so he's not a threat to public safety. A jury has awarded $10 million to the family of a man tased to death by 2 Wilson police officers 6 years ago. A federal jury ruled last week in favor of awarding the family of Jared Lakey damages to be paid by former Wilson officer Brandon Dingman and Joshua Taylor, but they cleared the Carter County Sheriff's Office in the case. That night, Dingman and Taylor tased 28-year-old Lakey 53 times over a course of 4 minutes while trying to restrain him. Carter County Deputy Jared Duggan arrived later and put Lakey into a sleep with a neck restraint, which contributed to the heart attack that killed him. But Wilson's officers told him that they only tased him twice. Both Dingman and Taylor are now in prison serving 10 years sentences for second-degree murder. A 55-year-old Texas man who told police he was in an imaginary relationship with WNBA star Caitlin Clark has now been sentenced. Michael Lewis of Denton, Texas, was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison yesterday after pleading guilty to stalking and harassing the Indiana Fever Guard. He reached a deal with prosecutors in which he pleaded guilty to 1 felony count of stalking and 1 misdemeanor count of harassment. Lewis was ordered to stay away from games and events, as well as to have no contact with Clark. He also will not be allowed internet access during his sentence. Lewis was arrested in January after authorities alleged he sent hundreds of threats and sexually explicit messages to Clark. Now, okay. Still not great news. It's time to say goodbye to a downtown Denison landmark. The building on the corner of Rusk and West Chestnut is being torn down. The city says that the building is no longer safe and none of it is salvageable. They say to watch for construction and road closures during the demo. The building's iconic butterfly mural facing Music Alley has served as a photo background for thousands of visitors to the downtown area. You should still have time to get out and get one last selfie before it comes down. Demolition, however, will begin tomorrow. As somebody who has lost so many tires to construction, please take that seriously. Also, the Texas-based Shipley Donuts has been acquired by a California firm. Shipley's is the nation's largest donut and kolache brand with more than 375 locations across 14 states. Private equity firm Levin Leachman Capital Partners acquired the Texas-based Shipley Donuts from Peak Rock Capital, according to a news release. Shipley's was founded in 1936 and is headquartered in Houston. It will reportedly continue to be run from its Houston headquarters by the existing executive team led by CEO Flynn Decker. According to current reports, locally run locations or franchise shops will not be closed. It's almost time for kids to head back into the classroom, and that means back to school shopping. Thankfully, you can save a few bucks if you shop in Oklahoma this weekend during the state's sale tax holiday. There will be no sales tax on shoes and clothing under $100. School supplies are not tax exempt. Sorry, let me reread that. Shoes and clothing under $100 are part of it. However, school supplies are not tax exempt. Tax-free weekend is this Friday through Sunday. Earlier this month, the Texas Health District reported a human case of West Nile virus, the first in the state. And just this week, mosquitoes from a trap in College Station came back with a positive case. The health district has been monitoring for the virus, which can spread from mosquitoes to humans. While most people who get West Nile are asymptomatic, the elderly and the immunocompromised are vulnerable. This man here lives on the south side of College Station. That's the same area where another person was diagnosed earlier this month. The 78-year-old contracted the virus last week. Prospero Rangel has gone from being an active and healthy man to having to go to the hospital and now relearn how to walk. Our sister station spoke with his daughter about his condition.
He's pretty down. Like I said, he recovered from cancer, and now he's trying to recover from encephalitis, West Nile, and he's a little down, but he's determined to get up.
Definitely wearing long sleeves helps. Wearing DEET-based bug spray is very helpful. You really want that DEET. And then removing all standing water. That is our huge main focus. In these areas that we have seen these cases, there's a lot of standing water.
There have been no current reports of West Nile in Texoma, but specialists are increasing their watch. Speaking of bugs, if you're scared of spiders, you may want to limit your time outside at night when fall comes, as tarantulas will be coming out of hiding in Texas. This is because fall is the natural mating season for these critters. They're generally nocturnal creatures, so your odds of seeing them won't be very high during the day, but if you do come across a tarantula, experts warn you to leave them be, as they can jump very high and will bite if threatened. Kind of news I could have gone without. Sorry about that one, guys. Now we'll be right back with your national and international headlines, so make sure to stay tuned and not swipe away. After that, we'll bring it back to Texoma for our community corner. Stay with us. Welcome back. New York City Police and the FBI continue to investigate yesterday's deadly shooting at a Manhattan office building. Now, we're learning more about a possible motive. Investigators believe that Sean Tumara of Las Vegas traveled cross-country before opening fire in a Midtown Manhattan office. Here we see some of the video from the day. According to Mayor Eric Adams, the 27-year-old who played football in high school was trying to get into the NFL offices after shooting several people Monday in the building's lobby. However, he accidentally entered the wrong elevator banks. Police said that Tumara had a rambling note found on his body that suggested he had a grievance against the NFL over a claim that he suffered from a brain disease linked to contact sports. He killed 4 people before killing himself. Among the victims, NYPD officer Duralat Islam was also working there, but he was actually off duty. He was working as a security guard at the building. Islam was married with 2 boys, and his wife is pregnant with their 3rd. Overnight, officers gathered at a New York City hospital to pay their respects. The NFL released a memo saying that one of its employees was also badly injured, but will hopefully be able to pull through. At least 3 people were killed and 3 others were wounded after a gunman opened fire outside of a casino resort in Reno, Nevada on Monday morning, according to police. Now, this footage, filmed by Brianna Woodsford, shows a large police presence outside of the casino on Monday. The Reno Police Department said officers responded to reports of an active shooter at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino around 7 a.m. and then quickly located and shot the suspect who was wounded. The suspect was taken into custody and transported to a local hospital. Police then found several victims with gun wounds, all of whom were taken to a local hospital for treatment. 2 of the injured victims remain in critical condition, and the 3rd one was released from the hospital. Reno Police Chief Chris Crawford said during a press conference on Monday afternoon that an investigation is ongoing, the police department added. Now, Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, is asking the Supreme Court to overhaul her sex trafficking conviction. She's arguing that she should have been shielded under an earlier plea agreement between Epstein and federal prosecutors in Florida. President Trump is continuing to brush off questions about pardoning, but he hasn't ruled it out. In another development, CBS News has recently reported about the so-called missing minute from the surveillance video of the Manhattan Correctional Center where Epstein died by suicide in 2019. A government source says the FBI is in possession of a copy of the video that does not jump forward 1 minute. It's currently unclear why that section was missing when the FBI, earlier this month, released what it said was raw footage from the night. Early $10 million worth of birth control was purchased with U.S. taxpayer money, and now it might be destroyed instead of being sent to women overseas. The contraception is housed in a Belgian warehouse, and most items don't expire for another 2 to 3 years. The State Department says that the preliminary plan is to incinerate the birth control as a result of the dismantling of the U.S. Agency for International Development, or the USAID. Officials say it will cost about $167,000 to destroy the supplies, which includes copper IUDs and birth control injections. Belgium officials say that they are trying to find a way to save the stock. The U.S. government previously turned down an offer from an organization to pay for the shipping and repackaging of the items. Yesterday, the House Majority Political Action Committee announced plans to raise $2 million to recruit and support Democratic candidates across Texas. The announcement came as Texas gears up to play a key role in the upcoming midterm elections this fall in the midst of a redistricting fight. The super PAC funds will target seats currently occupied by Republicans that Democrats feel that they can flip. Democrats are calling it the Lone Star Fund. 2 of the largest railroads in the U.S. are planning to combine to create the country's first transcontinental freight railroad. Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern announced $72 billion. That's the deal, yep. Rail customers are concerned that any merger could result in service problems and supply chain disruptions, but the railroads promised that the plan would benefit their customers. The deal still needs regulatory approval. Then Pope Leo XIV is welcoming more than 500,000 young people to the Vatican this week for the Jubilee of Youth. Americans are among pilgrims from nearly 150 countries who've traveled to Rome for the event. Pope Leo will lead prayer services, confessions, and Sunday Mass during the week-long celebration.
Very excited to see Pope Leo and to grow in my faith as we come here on pilgrimage.
The youth are the next generation. We are the next generation, the new hope for Christianity, for Catholicism. And it's such a blessing and it's such an amazing time to be a young person in the Jubilee.
Young people pass through the holy doors of St. Peter's Ballista, a tradition that represents a renewed connection to their faith. The gathering only happens every 25 years as part of the Catholic Church's Jubilee year. Now, don't go away. We'll be right back at home in Texoma as it's time for our Community Corner. Don't exit out now.
I know that I have a lot of friends who have a lot of memories in this building, and we're just really excited to bring it back to life. Again, when you think about church and jiu-jitsu, it doesn't feel like it goes together, but there's also a lot of symbolism and community that bring us all together.